皆さんどうも、ごきげんよう。クリニックです。本日も、お一人語学部復唱する編ということで、英単語をやっていきます。はい。まあ、Retribution. The victims of the financial fraud are seeking retribution against the people responsible. Emancipate. Abraham Lincoln emancipated the slaves in the United States in 1863. Sidestep. The candidate sidestepped the reporter's question by changing the topic. Deform. The scoliosis is a condition that deforms the shape of the spine. Elastic. The curved and elastic atmosphere provides a relaxing escape from the city. War. Unless he gets a job, his financial woes will likely continue. Usher. She ushered me into her office. Nuisance. Spam emails are nuisance. Avarice. All her actions are motivated by avarice. Pushover. I think he's no pushover. Dart. He darted into the classroom just before the class started. Droop. The plant was drooping from lack of water. Jumbled. All her necklaces in the jewelry box were jumbled together. Blanche. She blanched at the sight of the gigantic spider in her bathroom. Sectarian. More than 100 people were killed in a sectarian conflict. Levitate. To exhibit her magical powers, she levitated a few feet off the floor. Rapture. She listened to him. Raptured. Impermeable. Most modern building materials are impermeable to water. Ascension. She devoted her life to the ascension blacks in society. Fumigate. I had my face fumigated to get rid of the rats. Lassitude. Such a monotonous task brings a feeling of lassitude to workers. Instantaneous. The internet makes it possible to get a nearly instantaneous answer to almost any question. Escapade. As a teenager, he was involved in all sorts of crazy escapades. Entourage. A pop star is always accompanied by her entourage of bodyguards. Voraciously. He reads voraciously, often devouring entire books in a single night. Profane. Do not use profane language. Malign. The politician does nothing but malign his opponents. Personable. She is very personable and easy to talk to, making her a great salesperson. Easy to talk to. Makeshift. The owner has set up a makeshift office in the corner of the cafe. Nauseate. Smell of rotten meat. Nauseate. Dishes. The activist was arrested for making seditious statement against the state. Desultory. For a few moments, we talked in a desultory manner. Suave. He swabbed the cut with alcohol to disinfect it. Decadence. He pointed out some factors that are responsible for the moral decadence today. Luster. Shakespeare's work never lose their luster. Strenuous. Developing a new market is a strenuous task. Succulent. They serve succulent fruits as dessert. Indiscriminate. 10 people were killed in the indiscriminate murder. Flamboyant. A movie is about a clairvoyant young boy who can predict the future. Reap. They are at last reaping the benefits of their years of efforts. Fortitude. She overcame a lot of troubles with fortitude. Dubious. The scientific hypothesis was rejected as a highly dubious claim with no supporting evidence. Rump. The game turned into a rump after the opposing team suffered several injuries. Grouch. My uncle turned to a real grouch recently. Abyss. He fell into an abyss of despair following the loss of his family. Jirt. He was jilted by his girlfriend last week. Transports. The data was transported to different format to make it compatible with software. Conundrum. She received 2 jobs offered simultaneously, which brought her quite a conundrum. Storage. This boat has ample storage. Snitch. He confessed to being a snitch. Emphatic. They are emphatic that global warming has been caused by humans. Snide. She made a snide comment about their boss's lack of technical knowledge. Widget. They invented a new widget to help keep drivers awake. Credulity. The company was accused of taking advantage of credulity of consumers. Ephemeral. The fame was ephemeral, and she soon went back to being just a regular person. Insubstantial. There is no point in repeating insubstantial arguments. Beckon. The host of the event beckoned her to come onto the stage. Sneer. A faint sneer came over her face. Tenures. With a history of conflict, the peace agreement between the 2 countries was tenuous. Scarf. She scarfed her new shoes the very first time she wore them. Ingrained. Traditional beliefs about education are ingrained, so people are resistant to change. Dredge. They dredged the harbor and built a man-made island. Niggle. He tends to niggle over little details. Barge. His bag was bulging with books. Perverse. She seems to take a perverse pleasure in making her parents sad. Heretic. They were severely designated as heretics. Imperious. She demanded in a furious tone. Levy. The state plans to impose a levy on cars entering there. Conflate. They are 2 different issues and should not be conflated. Prerogative. It is an author's prerogative to tell the story he wants to tell. Correlation. The team is responsible for the correlation of data. Truancy. His parents were furious when they learned of the truancy. Unabashedly. He unabashedly admitted his lack of knowledge about the topic. Haggard. She looked haggard after staying up all night programming. Malady. He is suffering from multiple maladies, including arthritis and heart disease. Indictment. No one expected Grace to get an indictment for any crime, right or wrong, but theft. Vociferous. The activist is a vociferous critic of the corporation's environmental record. Infirmity. Her death was due to infirmity of age. Mutinous. He sometimes shows a mutinous attitude toward his boss. Celibate. He chose to live a celibate life because of his religious beliefs. Hint. The scandal tainted the politician's reputation. Insignia. Uniforms had insignia signifying a soldier's rank. Probationary. All new employees will be subject to a probationary period of 6 months. Denunciation. The invasion has drawn strong denunciations from leaders around the globe. Debarred. He was debarred from driving a car for 3 years. Lax. The teacher is lax about enforcing the rules against eating in the classroom. Obnoxious. The obnoxious teenagers sitting next to him at the restaurant were very loud. Harbinger. According to the legend, 11's the harbingers of doom. Logistically. Savings. Such tests are logistically difficult as they are time-consuming. Exhilaration. The crowd was in a state of exhilaration. Rancid. The water went rancid in a few days. Contemptuous. She is contemptuous of people who do not have right manners. Terror. There are some tracks on the street selling ice cream to kids. Rueful. He had a rueful smile on his face. Inaugurate. The school students have been inaugurated against polio. Gratuity. The tour guide received a generous gratuity from one of the travelers. Conviviality. The library party has a great sense of conviviality. Tantrum. The young girl threw a tantrum when her father would not buy her at all. Hallucinate. The patient seems to be hallucinating at that time. Indemnity. She demanded indemnity for the damage caused by the accident. Indolence. His mother criticized his indolence and the general lack of motivation. Underwrite. Not a few investors agreed to underwrite the project. Virtuous. She led a virtuous life and she wanted others to follow her example. Exhort. During summer break, he exerted his newfound freedom, playing video games all day. Tumult. The concert hall was in a state of tumult after the power went out. Redeem. The great performances of the actors redeemed the flaws in the story. Consult. There is rumors that he consulted with the underworld. Defer. The committee agreed to defer their decision. Delineate. This paper delineates the current state of the Japanese economy. Condiments are used to enhance flavor. Cracks. They held a meeting to find the cracks of the problem and how to best solve it. Forced. She attempted to force the blame for the broken vase onto her brother. Dispensation. The company has received a special dispensation from the government to produce the weapons. Arrears. His rent is 10 days in arrears. Egalitarian. No state in human history has managed to create a completely egalitarian society. Brittle. His sister was jealous, so she tried to belittle his accomplishment. Snarl. My neighbor's dog always snarls at me. Annihilate. The president has vowed to annihilate terrorist. Crabby. She is in a crabby mood because she did not get much sleep last night. Grave. Many people dislike how the candidates give grave answers to questions on complex issues. Unit 14. Jinx. There seems to be a jinx on the project from the beginning. Entreaty. They do not listen to our entreaties. Luminary. It's known today as one of the luminaries of 19th century science. Laborious. His daughter's delightful ebullience always brings a smile to his face. Senile. That patient suffers from senile dementia. Incredulous. He was incredulous when his wife said they had won the lottery. Very. The actress was waylaid by a group of reporters. Tabby. She is quite pleased with her tabby mug. Acquiesce. After much negotiation, the company acquiesced to the demands of its employees. Conscription. The country has a mandatory conscription for all of its male citizens. Contravene. The construction company was fined for contravening safety regulations. Inter. He was interred next to his wife. Addendum. Addendum. This report is provided as an addendum to the earlier documents. Dribble. Dribble. I accidentally dribbled some coffee on my shirt. Rumpled. 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 The man rumpled his hair with his hands. Kindred. Kindred. I do not believe in ghosts and kindred phenomena. Cardinal. Cardinal. Respect for basic human rights is a cultural principle of the Constitution of Japan. Matriculate. Matriculate. He matriculated at Harvard University in 1988. Treason. Treason. They were convicted of treason for passing nuclear secrets to the enemy nation. Relieved. Relieved. The company announced they would compensate the bereaved family. Here. Here. The coach introduced 3-tier training courses. Garrulous. Garrulous. After she drank a few glasses of wine, she became garrulous. Digression. The professor apologized for the digression and resumed his lecture. Stymie. The moving plan has been stymied by land contamination problems. Snip. Snip. She snipped some parsley from the garden during the soup and prayed at her. Dismayed. Dismayed. Her choice to drop out of school dismayed her parents. Abolition. The decision to participate in the medical trial must be made of patients' own volition. Arbitrate. Arbitrate. The UN arbitrated a dispute between the two nations. Agape. Agape. He just stood there with his mouth agape as he received an acceptance letter. Gradient. Gradient. This car drives smooth, even roads with steep gradients. Repulsive. Repulsive. The smell was so repulsive that she had to leave the room. Abduct. Abduct. The child who was abducted late last night has returned to the village. Linkage. Linkage. We cannot find any linkage between the two incidents. Contraption. Contraption. He built a contraption that can make seawater drinkable. Gobble. 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 After hanging up the phone, I realized I gobbled my address. Demurred. 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 When asked in bed, she demurred, saying that she was looking for more stable investment. Trans. I retired trans 10-2 in the last game. Started. Started. The accused remained starred even when he received a sentence of death. The date. The date. The hotel is located in a sedate town. Gaudy. 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 Their gaudy dress got everyone's attention. Provident. Provident. You should lead a more provident life. Fortuitously. Fortuitously. Our visit to the city fortuitously coincided with summer festival. Debate. Debate. Just email this form to get 50 debate rebate for the printer. Varnish. Varnish. I varnished the silver ring to get into the shine again. Overhaul. Overhaul. Recently I had my watch overhauled. Ponderous. Ponderous. His latest book was ponderous rather than philosophical. Eponymous. Eponymous. The film Forrest Gump tells a story of its eponymous hero's journey from childhood to adulthood. Incisive. Her newsletter's incisive analysis of market trends make it popular among investors. Bedraggled. Bedraggled. A bedraggled man was taking shelter from the rain on the tree. Cavernous. 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 The seminar was held in a cavernous hall. Jubilant. Jubilant. Fans of the team were jubilant when it finally won the championship. Aperture. 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 We entered the cave through a narrow aperture. Devout. Devout. He's a devout Christian. Promulgate. Promulgate. He succeeded in propagating his ideas through the media. Pliable. Pliable. The material is both pliable and durable, making it perfect for grabs. Chunky. Chunky. He wore a chunky sweater and looked chic. Spectre. Spectre. The sergeants live in the fear of the spectre of war. Undulate. The path undulates gently alongside a river. Spoof. Spoof. The movie was a spoof of Star Wars. Extort. Extort. They attempted to extort a large sum of the money from care. Submissive. The manager seems to use a submissive worker. Inimical. Such an extreme ideology is inimical to social order. Ameliorate. Describing to ameliorate educational quality. Waver. She never wavered into opposition to the war. Ferocious. The boat passengers were lucky to escape the ferocious people. Irresolute. They were too irresolute to take swift action. Hilarious. Everyone was laughing at Hilarious' story. Spanish. He was banished from the basketball bar because of the scandal conformist. The musician has long said he will be a conformist. Angst. Many young people at that age are full of angst. Remit. Please remit payment by cash or check. Flatterance. When she entered the bakery, it smelled redolence of sweet cinnamon. Tingle. His arms were tingling because he had been sleeping on it. Predominate. Democrats predominate in the Senate. Apex. We at last get the apex of the mountain. Accreditation. The government withdrew accreditation from the college. Courier. We use the courier service to deliver our packages. Elongate. She wore high heels to elongate her legs. Servitude. A lot of people are in a state of servitude in that country. Inertia. She could not throw off the feeling of inertia after her afternoon nap. Impregnable. Her position as the leading figure seems impregnable. Stalwart. They are stalwart of our volunteer activities. Blasphemy. Criticism of religion and scripture considered blasphemy by its believers. Haughty. The haughty attitude of the wealthy man makes many people dislike him. Staid. The company is trying to shake off its staid image. Attuned. It took long for me to become attuned to the customs of the country. Ascetic. He lived a very ascetic life for a long time. Reciprocate. I'd like to reciprocate your hospitality someday. Prophetic. Its novel later proved to be prophetic. Inclement. The flight had to be cancelled due to its inclement weather. Lure. The low cost of living is drawing many new residents from overseas. Warden. As a wildlife specialist, he has spent 8 years as a park warden. Statutory. The statutory speed limit on the road is 40 kilometers per hour. Baker. They are always bickering about what to eat for lunch. Tolerate. The latest novel is based on historic love affair. Swear. He stops himself from burgers while swearing beer. Babay. The store purveys a wide range of goods, from clothing to home appliances. Direct. He was looking at the scene with eyes dilated and mouth open. Expiate. I'll do anything to expiate my guilt. Inane. The actress was fed up with being asked lots of inane questions. Acolyte. The president counseled one with space for acolyte. Chivalrous. She dreamed of meeting a chivalrous man like the ones in the story she read. Diffuse. The lighting was beautifully diffused throughout the room. Intractable. This book discusses intractable problems in an aging society. Fathom. I could not fathom why she said things like that. Squint. She did not have the glasses, so she needed to squint in order to read a sign. Conference. The rare conference of events led to them holding a once-in-a-lifetime concert. Craze. Running has become the latest craze that sweeps the country. Fiendish. The man approached her with a fiendish look on his face. Gripe. My only gripe with the smartphone is the size of the screen. Creep. The two were determined to corrupt their original positions, so the argument was never resolved. Luscious. The tart is topped with luscious homemade whipped cream. Mirth. The children's laughter brings much mirth to the small park outside the home. Caveat. There are a number of caveats written in her contract. Atonement. He decided to leave his position as president as atonement for his wrongdoings. Embroider. She always embroiders a story with exciting details. Strife. The political instability in the country was caused by snake strife. Partake. All employees are encouraged to partake in the upcoming charity event. Juxtapose. The photo juxtaposes the appearance of the forest before and after it has been chopped down. Fortress. The fortress was built 300 years ago and is now a tourist attraction. Unit 15. Advocate. He is a leading advocate of political reform. Manipulate. The large monopoly has the ability to manipulate prices. Regime. The communist regime in that country collapsed in the late 20th century. Subsequent. Initial research was promising and subsequent tests proved the theory correct. Vulnerable. She was quite vulnerable after a divorce. Indigenous. The indigenous people welcomed the settlers when they first arrived. Great. He has many of the same traits as his father. Predator. Workers are arguably the most powerful predators in the ocean. Ultimately, she is confident that her hard work will ultimately lead her to her success. Diagnose. He was diagnosed with a rare liver disease, but luckily it is not very serious. Legitimate. You must have a legitimate reason for missing work. Enhance. Adding a bit of salt can greatly enhance the flavor of a dish. Incentive. He was offered strong incentives to take the job. Validity. A growing number of scientists have begun to question the validity of the experiments. Proponent. The doctor was one of the first proponents of the new medical treatment. Cognitive. The child's cognitive development was normal despite the accident. Outright. The city has been banned smoking or riding out the public space. Facilitate. The new visa is intended to facilitate cultural exchange between the two nations. Correlation. The study revealed the correlation between income levels and overall health. Underestimate. Unfortunately, she underestimated how difficult the climb would be. Drawback. There are some drawbacks to being famous, such as lack of privacy. Skeptical. While the CEO insists the company's sales will improve, many employees remain skeptical. Embrace. She embraced Christianity when she married a minister. Controversial. Many types of animal testing for scientific research are very controversial. Hazardous. Use strangers are dropped into a container for hazardous waste. Extract. The new machine extracts oil from seeds more efficiently. Implement. The government cannot implement this new plan without raising taxes. Influx. After giving a powerful speech, the mayor got an influx of support. Outweigh. The advantages of joining the treaty outweigh the disadvantages. Envision. They try to envision the future of their community. Contend. The employees contend that they deserve a raise in pay. Pharmaceutical. The pharmaceutical company is best known for its popular brand of painkillers. Migration. Tourists visit the Serengeti each year to witness the migration of the wildebeest. The use of drones has become a common aspect of modern warfare. Livestock. She decided to become vegetarian after watching a film about the commercial livestock production. Perish. The baby bird will perish if their mother does not feed them. Enact. The government enacted a new law to protect endangered wildlife. Implant. The surgeon implanted a bad rod in the patient's leg. Hypothesis. The hypothesis was supported by the result of tests that were conducted. Breakthrough. A breakthrough in genetic research may have unlocked the key to new anti-aging treatments. Overly. He became overly emotional during his speech, and he was able to finish. Inherent. The corporation decides giving the inherent advantages of competitors. Run. They let their pet rabbits roam around freely in the backyard. Mandatory. You must attend 3 days of mandatory training to get your license. Accusation. The athlete has denied the accusation that he used drug. Contaminate. The factory was contaminating the nearby river with toxic waste. Inmate. He volunteers once per week to teach prison inmates. Dub. The movement was dubbed by the media Arab Spring. Generically engineered crops have become controversial in recent years. Credibility. The evidence presented at trial damaged her credibility as a witness. Toxic. It is possible that the factory workers were exposed to toxic chemicals. Relevance. The book explores the relevance of the ancient teachings to modern day life. Thrive. The plant thrives in bright sunlight and requires little water. Underlie. The desire to feel safe underlies much of human behavior and decision making. Sway. The party leader's powerful speech swayed the voters. Delegate. His company would not grow and still had to delegate some of his tasks. Foresee. The tribes people do not foresee how technology would change their society. Reinforce. The walls have been reinforced to prevent them from collapsing in earthquake. Assault. He was assaulted by 3 men on his way home. Inject. She closed her eyes as the doctor injected the needle into her arm. Pricey. That wine has excellent, but a little pricey at $50. Disrupt. Train service was disrupted due to poor weather conditions. Total. That branch did not meet its quota for new customers this year. Forefront. The research institute is the forefront of dementia research. Uprising. The French Revolution was one of the most significant uprisings in modern times. Constitutional. The panel will decide whether or not the new law is constitutional. Specimen. The scientists collected a specimen of the trade index for further study. Displays. The war has already displaced hundreds of thousands of people. Mortgage. Due to the financial crisis, many homeowners cannot pay their mortgages. Socioeconomic. Access to education is often affected by socioeconomic factors such as income and race. Livelihood. The people of the village rely on the river for the livelihood. Intensify. As their savings depleted, they intensified their efforts to find an investor. Potent. The potent drug is very effective, but taking it comes with significant risks. Induce. Prior to the procedure, the doctor will give a drug to induce sleep. Suppress. He had surpassed her ability and no longer needed her as a teacher. Irrational, irrational, irrational. Let's stop his irrational argument. Infamous, infamous. Al Capone is infamous crime boss during the Prohibition era in the United States. Prohibition era. People has expressed outrage over the destruction of the historical monument. Overthrown. Overthrown. In 1959, Fidel Castro's rebels overthrew the Cuban government. Spurred. Based on this theory, lower taxes should spur economic growth. Overstate. The company has been criticized for overstating the effectiveness of new drug. Dilemma. He faced a dilemma, saved his job, or saved his marriage. Ravage. The country was ravaged by the disease which killed millions. Viable. The proposed marketing campaign is not viable because it would be too expensive. Fraud. Critics say the plan is fatally flawed. Appalled. The conservative politician is dedicated to upholding traditional family values. Simplistic. The author's simplistic explanation of the concept leaves out important details. Intake. The doctor advised her to increase the daily intake of water. Tremendous. Paying for the lawsuit was tremendous burden for the company. Indispensable. He was indispensable to the team and their success. Debate. Construction to debate labor started. Projection. The projection turned out to be unrealistic, and the company suffered as a result. Subordinate. Make sure to be kind to your subordinates. Necessitate. The new workplace safety law necessitated a substantial investment in the factory building. Revolt. The revolt was mostly led by young adults in their late teens and early 20s. Infectious diseases have spread over the region. Expelled. The student was expelled from school for threatening another student with a knife. Oppress. The government oppresses minority groups, especially homosexuals. Disposal. Safe disposal of nuclear waste is a difficult problem. Overrun. The royal family fled while the city was being overrun by enemy troops. Recipient. I added an email address to the recipient list. Societal. The civil rights movement sparked major societal changes. Rebellious. The rebellious teenager refuses to attend school or obey her parents. Niche. The new type of exercise has found a niche in the health and wellness market. Devastate. The city was devastated by a huge earthquake. Prestige. A prize-winning album brought her prestige in the entertainment industry. Brutality. There are many films that portray the brutality of slavery. Casualty. The D-Day invasion resulted in heavy casualties for both the Allied and the German forces. Rampant. Due to rampant corruption, bribing government officials is basically a requirement. Coalition. We formed a coalition with other civic groups to clean up the park. Confinement. Many say that the confinement of prisoners to solitary cells is inhumane. Microscopic. Dust mites are microscopic organisms that live in the fibers of carpets and bedding. Neutrality. Switzerland adopted the official policy of neutrality in the late 19th century. Evacuate. The children have been trained how to evacuate the building in case of emergency. Hygiene. The restaurant was shut down for failing to maintain minimum standards of hygiene. Integral. Careful planning was integral to the success of the project. Outnumbered. Women outnumber men in the town almost 2 to 1. Albeit. People with town live, albeit 3 days late. Disproportionate, albeit. The harsh punishment is considered disproportionate to the relatively minor crime. restoration of the historical building will be completed later this year. Unit 16. Foremost. He's one of the country's foremost experts on environmental policy. Allocate. She is in charge of allocating the company's research and development funds. Hostile. The tribe is typically hostile to outsiders, so caution is advised. Build up. The country's military build-up is making a neighboring nation quite uneasy. Penalize. The company will be penalized if it does not file its taxes this month. Convict. She was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. Aftermath. We have to be prepared for the aftermath of the war. Here. A new device was hailed as a major breakthrough in medical science. Merge. These companies merged to form a new electronic giant. Captive. It thinks it's inhumane to hold animals captive in zoos. Complementary. The hotel offers complimentary shuttle service. Downfall. The downfall of the empire was caused by corruption. Selective. He is very selective about what resources he uses. Upheaval. The market has experienced great upheaval this year. Eradicate. A vaccine helped eradicate smallpox from the world. Forage. Many animals are on the verge of extinction because of humans. Pretense. He was arrested for obtaining the money under false pretenses. Privileged. A job that company obtained a privileged position. Tolerance. His teacher has no tolerance for students who late. Render. The manual was rendered useless after it got stuck in the rain. Outlawed. Alcohol was outlawed for many years in the United States. Reassured. A grandparents reassured her that she would pass her exam. Gigantic. There's a gigantic whale sailing through the harbor. Possible. There are signs of possible injury at the front door. Inhibit. Many argue that overly strict business regulations are inhibiting economic growth. Disguise. The man disguised his true identity. Confidential. He was fired for selling confidential company records to competitors. Dismiss. The director dismissed criticism of his firm, saying they missed the point. Irrigation. This area is a desert, so irrigation is necessary to grow crops. Confrontational. The country took a more confrontational stand against the international community. Hinder. Production was hindered by low morale at the factory. Oversight. The accounting department is responsible for oversight of all financial reporting. Skyrocket. Energy prices have skyrocketed over the past few months. Evaporate. The sun's heat evaporates water from oceans, lakes, rivers, etc. Staggering. She owns a staggering number of passes and accessories. Status quo. She argues we need to change the status quo by getting more young people elected. Halt. The war halted the export of important resources to other countries. Exert. The large company was able to exert its influence over the local government. Barrett. Barrett will be discarded if not filled up properly. Disciplinary. The university decided to take disciplinary action against some students. Solidify. Concrete typically starts to solidify within 24-48 hours after it is poured. Bravery. No more chance for the government bribery scandal. Purge. The government raised interest rates to cover inflation. Rush. Let's try to stay calm and avoid making rash decisions. Irrelevant. That evidence is relevant to the Pace. Demographic. This app targets a younger demographic of users than that one. Milnor. I grow some vegetables in the communal farm garden. Norm. It was a norm for people to have many children back then. Advent. The advent of television caused many movie theaters to close. Shutter. Her dreams of being a professional athlete were shattered because of her injury. Chaotic. The political situation in that country is still chaotic. Integrity. There is significant evidence that business leaders with integrity are more successful. Agrarian. India is one of the largest agrarian country in the world. Uproar. The town was in uproar over the decision to let the casino be built. Commence. He quit the company and commenced some business. Coin. It is that calling new words. Deplete. Now there is October, the store's stock of summer clothes is depleted. Exempt. He was exempted from military service because of his heart condition. Incite. Some people purposely incited violence during the peaceful protest. Unprecedented. The state is facing unprecedented levels of drug this year. Entity. Each entity must agree to the terms of contract. Intervene. The brother and sister's mother intervened when they started to get violent. Attic. There's a nice view from the spiraling figure in the attic. Presumption. Acting on your presumptions without listening to them first is a bad idea. Assertive. She's trying to become more assertive so that people listen to her opinions more. Liken. The horror director's film can be likened to the those of Alfred Hitchcock. Fragility. The fragility of these items we considered when packing them. Hefty. He paid a hefty sum of money for his toy. The boss taught him to treat everyone with kindness, be their friends or foes. Incidents. Their area has a high incidence of cancer compared to national average. Catastrophe. The party was catastrophe. The guests of honor did not show up. The food was awful. Outstripped. Demand for masks was outstripped supply in the early days of the pandemic. Solidarity. To express our solidarity with the people affected by the flood. Overdue. The librarian scolded her for having so many books of the Jew. Seamless. The series hoping to manage a seamless transition to solar power. Evoke. The photographs evoke the comfort of form. But he bragged about his promotion all of his colleagues. Upscale. They went to the upscale restaurant to celebrate their anniversary. Renowned. Like a magazine, commonplace renowned authors write book reviews. Freight. All the freight was lost when the ship sank. Outcry. The shooting incident triggered a public outcry. Unearthed. An unexploded bomb was unearthed at the construction site. Municipality. Leaders of several municipalities against the Bureau. Recede. It took a long time for the tsunami to recede completely. Taxonomic. Taxonomic diversity of bees is being challenged by climate change. Watershed. These movies were watershed in the history of Hollywood. Instability. Economic instability is causing many people to struggle to survive. Suppress. She was unable to suppress her emotions. Misinterpret. She misinterpreted his silence as a agreement to go to the party. Decent. She had a decent collection of artwork in her basement. Retrieve. He retrieved the bullet he left on the train from Ross and found. Very. You have to be wary of such a good deal. Criminality. He did not recognize the criminality of sending the money to his cousin who was terrorist. Vandalism. vandalism. The boys tried two young men with vandalism. Sanitation. Poor sanitation usually causes the spread of many diseases. Setback. There have been several setbacks for the construction of the new baseball stadium. Strive. She is a great teacher because she strives to help all of her students. Affluent. She grew up in an affluent family. Done down. The supervisor gave them a quick rundown of the schedule for the day. Formidable. They managed to beat the formidable opponent in the match. Deregulate. Plans to deregulate that industry have been met with protest. Erupt. A civil war erupted within the small country last month. Diminutive. The diminutive woman is his wife. Benchmark. This test is commonly used as benchmark for evaluating the ability of English. Indicative. In presence of mosquitoes, indicative of still water. Reliant. Many companies are reliant on cheap labor to make their goods. Prosecute. She was prosecuted for the murder of her husband. Stunning. The bride's gown was stunning. Edible. The guide taught them to distinguish edible mushrooms from poisonous ones. Addictive. The nicotine found in the tobacco product is highly addictive. Freed. He pleaded guilty to the charge of involuntary manslaughter. Traumatic. He was thrown in shock weeks after the traumatic experience. Contradictory. Your essay is fully contradictory statements that do not make sense. Hierarchical. Some cultures organize society in a more hierarchical way than others. Populous. Tokyo is one of the most populous metropolitan areas in the world. Raid. Most of the city was destroyed in bombing raid. Humanitarian. The non-profit organization does a wide variety of humanitarian work in developing countries. Workload. She complained her boss that workload was too extreme. Monopoly. The airline basically has a monopoly on that particular flight rate. Finalize. The marketing team has not yet finalized the name of the new game. まだかな。実は以上ということで、ありがとうございました。ではまた、バイバイ。アイテムスごきげんよう。それでは、はい、じゃあ、6ビュースということでありがとうございます。